No, but now we don't know what to say because we have to do that again. It was lost. It stopped.
It was
in the
lost.
middle. No. I have to say hello, no?
Yes.
To there, no? It was that, no?
Yes.
Hello.
That's
Okay.
the camera.
Good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. You want to talk about this beautiful rose?
No, you talk.
Now I
I
talk.
wait for you.
It's a beautiful rose from our garden. It's, what is it growing into? It's climbing up into a tree trunk, and it's full of roses this time of the year.
The tree that is dead,
Yeah.
but it's still there. And so the rose bush is covering the whole tree.
And it's
full of
absolutely
roses.
stunning. The smell, the color, how beautiful it is. So I'm going to try and make, I don't know what you call that.
My friend Pedro, he always wants these roses, the petals,
Yes,
to
claro.
make perfume out of it.
Yes. Oh yeah, last year I remember we gave him some for making soap also. Rose petal and rose petals in the soap.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I will try to grow one and see if I if I can manage that. So we read a little bit.
Mm.
Okay. So now we are starting with the next chapter. It's called From the City to the Countryside. After my parents' divorce and the final dissolution of our business, the entire family fell apart. My aunt and her children moved to another apartment. My siblings started their own family life with their fiancés. My father disappeared, and my mother, Uncle Hu, and I moved to the small house in the country. This was probably a difficult step for my mother and her new companion, from a life of wealth with an enormous house, a limousine, and in a big city, to the country. There was only a small car, a modest house, and the nearest village was 3 kilometers away. To reach one of the small towns that surrounded us, it was necessary to drive about 20 kilometers. To get to the nearest train station, you had to drive 1 kilometer down the narrow road that connected the farm to the main road, and then another 2 kilometers on this country road to the village. Uncle Hu sold compressors and welding machines. He often went on business trips that took him all over Germany. He wasn't very successful, and so my mother soon had to look for a job because the money wasn't enough despite the modest country life. My grandmother, my mother's mother, lived with us for a while until she passed away in our house at the age of 83. You remember that? Your grandma passing away in your house?
Not the passing away, but being put in her bed, nicely dressed, because she was there for nearly 1 week in that room.
You mean after she passed away,
After
being
she passed
prepared
away.
and staying in the house, in the room, for people to come and visit, pay respects?
Well, for that, or simply the funeral was not held before, so she was there. It was cold in Germany, so no problem.
It wasn't Spanish summer.
Yes.
I suppose it's becoming more and more rare to have family members aging, living with them, dying at home.
When
so-
she was still there, I had always a meal when I came from school. Because she was, when my mother went to work, and my grandma was there, so running the house. And then when she passed away, then I did all these things. Because my Uncle Hu was not there, my mother was not there. I was doing all the dishes, or cleaning, or preparing something to eat when my mother came back from work, and I liked to see her face when she came back and it was warm and there was something to eat, to be grateful for that.
Yes,
I love to see that.
that's beautiful. Just like you did last Friday. Well, not only on Friday, also on Monday.
And
When-
on Tuesday and Wednesday.
When my friend and I went out for a long hike with the dogs, and you prepared food, and we came back and it was there and ready. That is wonderful. It's beautiful. And that wasn't even work in
Because
that
now
sense.
I'm the grandpa.
No,
Not
you
the
are
grandma, but the grandpa, and I can do that.
Yes,
Okay?
yes. For me, life here was even more fantastic.
Look,
Get-
in winter, when we had to go this 1 kilometer down the small road to the main road,
Yeah.
and we had this tiny little small car. It was a Fiat 500.
Oh, I love that. The old one.
And of course it was so cold that the motor would not start. So Uncle Hu would go into the car, and I had to sit outside behind to have some more weight, because the whole street or road was frozen, to make some more weight to make the engine start. So we went down a little bit the hill, and then boop, 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 and then freezing cold and sitting there on that car.
Someone's knocking.
Someone is knocking, so say, come in.
See? Hello? Anwar, I think. Your grandson.
Now my grandson is coming.
Yes.
Okay, we can introduce him
Well,
and give him the money he's asking for.
yes.
Pasa, come in.
Hello. Hola.
Venga un momento aquí. Ahí donde está Lena.
Ay, ¿dónde está Elena? We have to make space.
Ay.
You have to sit here. We
Come
have to come
closer.
closer.
Okay.
Come
You have to
closer,
come closer.
because we are making a video and now you are on the video. Come a little bit closer.
Even closer.
Even closer.
And
So that is my grandson. Come closer. You are only half on the,
I
on
don't
the
bite.
image. So, welcome. Say something. Say hello. Camera is there. They told me camera
Hola.
is there. You say hello, hello.
Hello. How you doing?
So that young boy is coming here, and we will give him some money to manage his life in some way.
Yes.
So you can go, Lena, and give him
Yes.
the money.
Ja. Wir können, wenn du aufstehst, gebe ich dir
Okay.
das Geld.
You check.
Moment.
So then later you can send that video to your mommy in Switzerland, and she can see you. Say, look, these are the little things we are doing. We are reading my book and then commenting different things that are not in the book. So there it is.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna try in English. My girlfriend, Ismaila, is interested on a session with you.
Who?
Ah, girlfriend's mother is interested in a hypnosis session with you.
Yeah, hypnosis session. I told her because
Tell her maybe first to look on our website.
I told her we watch your mail, and
Huh.
maybe she can text you.
Yeah, or you can give her my phone number and she
Is
can
that
send
okay?
me a message, and then we are in contact, and then we find out.
Okay.
Okay? Very good, good job.
Look at how well you speak English.
Yeah,
So-
and, because my girlfriend speaks perfect, so
Well, now you
But
don't have a
she's-
choice,
She's
right?
Spanish, no?
yes, she's Spanish, but I'm learning.
Very
Ah,
good.
Very good.
That's a really good life skill to
Good
have.
girlfriend.
Nice day.
Keep her, keep
You
her.
too.
eh?
Have a good evening.
Don't spoil it.
Bye.
It's
Bye-bye.
very easy to spoil everything, so be calm.
So that's life, right? People
Well,
knock.
that is nice, no?
Yeah.
That he is able to talk about all this. Well, he asked one day if he could come here and sleep one day with his girlfriend here in the hostel.
Yeah.
And of course we said yes, because we remember when we were young, no? So, and now look, the mother wants to come here to make a session. So,
And he's speaking English. He was
And
so
he's
shy to
learning.
speak English.
Wonderful.
Ah.
He's waking up. We have hope for him. We have hope for him, even if he has a quite difficult life right now, and he always had, because of his father, of his mother. But there's something inside of that young man that might be nice later, might come out.
Yes.
Okay? No, we go on reading? Ah, no, we
Yes.
were talking about that. So then later, going down, I went to school in the next village, and that
Mhm.
was these 3 kilometers. You had to go 1 kilometer down, and then on the main road to the next village, where the train station was. And often when I came home, to go was very easy. It was all downhill, but to come up, oh, you had your bicycle. You were walking next to the bicycle. And I often had that thought, and if I put down my bicycle now here and I start to hitchhike, then I will come to Istanbul. That was always my dream, going to Istanbul. That was Orient for me. I said, now if you put your bicycle here, you do not say goodbye to no one. You start to hitchhike and then you come to Yugoslavia and Bulgaria and then you come to Istanbul. And then many, many years later I found that my master was living in Istanbul. So there was, from being a child, always that call, come to Istanbul, come to Istanbul.
Do you recall if there was something that caught your attention about Istanbul, like
No.
reading a book or school, something? Where did Istanbul come from?
Well, maybe what we did when we had no internet and maybe even only some hours of TV a day, we were traveling with our finger on a map, no?
Mm-hmm.
I go here, I go there. I remember getting some, how you call that,
Prospectus?
no, from travel agencies.
Ah,
And then
yes.
looking, oh, that is Greece and that is Istanbul. And Istanbul was just this oriental ambient, the mosque, everything there. It was calling my attention. So I suppose I saw images from that. And then, yeah, it
I
was-
have almost the opposite experience. When I went to India for the first time, I was doing a training with Bosch, and they said you can go abroad to any Bosch where you want to worldwide. Write us a wish list with your number 1, 2, and 3 countries.
Hmm.
And for me, India was on the first place. I don't recall being attracted to India. I don't recall reading about India. There was nothing. It was simply there in my mind, and I have no idea
Where it came from.
where it came from. What I do know is that my mom, which I learned later after I had
Mhm.
already been there, that my mom always wanted to go to India.
Hmm.
But I have no recollection.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then she did come and visit me.
Hmm. I never wanted to go to Spain. I never wanted to go to South America. For me, it was always India and Orient.
Yeah.
So the closest Orient was Istanbul. Oh, that was over there. And now look where I'm sitting now since 40 years. And it's very nice. It's very fine. Finally, we came to Spain.
Yes.
No, that's a kind of pushing, pulling, destiny that you don't know where it comes from. It's just there. They're calling you.
Yes,
They're
somehow.
calling you. They're calling you. Like they called you to come here.
Hmm.
It's a calling. You don't understand that calling. It's not. You do not receive an email from your creator saying, "Well, I'm God now. Now do this or that." No. It's inside, and you give in to it. You listen to it. You do it, and that will guide you through your life.
Yes.
Read.
For me, life here was even more fantastic. Getting to school by bike, train, and on foot was an adventure every day. It was a pleasure to help out on the farm, being so young and already being able to drive the tractors and roam across fields and through the dense, dark spruce forests. Climbing the rocks and cliffs, exploring caves, and spending many a night out there with my friends, it all felt good. It nourished body and soul. At that age, and in the wonderful environment in which I spent those years, it was easier to live in harmony with the soul or subconscious. I remember once having an argument with my friend Joseph. We were behind his house, about 10 meters apart. There was a pile of firewood between us.
That's what you asked me the last time. Some other strange things that happened to you.
Yeah.
No, remember that saving the girl's life. That
Mm-hmm.
the tractor thing fell on it. And it was that. We had an argument and we were at the point to start a fight, and I was always afraid of physical fighting.
Fighting.
And we were maybe 10 meters apart, and we were running around this pile of firewood. I was hiding, from him. And in one moment I took a pebble and I threw it to him, and that pebble apparently touched him just here in solar plexus, and he just fell down like that. It made boom, and he was on the ground. And then I went home. I said, well, fine, I'm saved. And half an hour later he appeared at home, and maybe he forgot it, what had happened.
But everything was fine.
fine.
And children also forget and forgive a little bit more easily.
So apparently he was really completely out. The stone touched him here, and then it made boom. Recently I saw here a video about a horse, a male, and they wanted to bring that horse to cover a female horse. It had her time to be covered. And this horse, the male, was very beautiful, an immense animal. And they brought the male towards the female, and the female was one foot made pa, and touched him on that. And that male animal, it was not like breaking down or I cannot breathe and going down on his knees or whatever. It made boom, and that male animal fell to the ground and was dead immediately. Wow, and everyone was looking at that and said, what is that? So it was one touch from that female animal, and the life was over. So thanks God his life was not over, but he was out.
Shall we read the story?
Read.
Okay. So I remember once having an argument with my friend Joseph. We were behind his house, about 10 meters apart. There was a pile of firewood between us. Joseph stood on one side of the wood and I on the other. I feared physical confrontations my entire life. When I was younger, I prayed and once asked that my death would please not be caused by a human being. This, I believed, would destroy my faith in humanity. Now I stood there, afraid that my friend would run around the pile of wood to fight me. I picked up a small stone, a pebble, and threw it with all my force over to Joseph. The stone hit him in the chest, probably his solar plexus. My friend just fell over. He had fainted. Freed from a possible fight, I made my way home without paying any further attention to Joseph. A short time later, my friend showed up at my house and the argument was completely forgotten.
Wonderful.
That worked, that little pebble.
Maybe we should try that more often with some people.
I was given a bow and arrows for my birthday. Real arrows with metal tips. So we often practiced the art of archery on the weekends. A cardboard target leaning against a tree was used to check the shooter's accuracy. At Easter time, we placed empty glass bottles about 3 or 4 meters away. We placed small chocolate Easter eggs on top of the openings of the bottles. My friends raised the bow and looked along the arrow, from the feathers to the tip, to make sure that the arrow reached its target, the chocolate egg. But all too often they missed their goal. The way I shot the arrows was different. I held the bow in front of my stomach at navel level and swung my body a little to the right and left to finally send the arrow on its way. Often, much more often than my friends, I managed to shoot the Easter egg from the neck of the bottle. That's a strange way to shoot an arrow.
I don't know if that is really strange. Maybe many people always did that. That you are guided by intuition, not by controlling. No, you try to control with your eyes. No, you look and say it will go there. No, you have it here. No, there are Buddhist monks, and they shoot with blinded eyes, and that's just the same.
When you recall if you set an intention to say, I want to shoot that Easter egg?
No.
Because it was quite clear what you were doing.
Never like intellectual thinking about that. Or I just did it. I don't know why I did it. I did it.
Well, intuition, as you said, right? In this environment, it was easier to live in harmony with the soul or subconscious.
Just that girl that came today for a retreat, and then in the end she said to me, she's living in London, she said, I have to go out of London.
Yeah.
I have to go out. I have to go to a more normal, basic life, not all these influences from all these people there, and they're rushing the whole day, and you only sit in your metro, and you go to work, and then you come back, and then a little bit maybe have a dinner, and then some TV, and you go to bed, knowing that at 7 o'clock you'll sit again in the train.
Yeah.
I said, I have to go out of that. It was all our prosperity, apparently, that we have materially.
Yes.
We are abandoning our soul completely. We are going the wrong way with that. No, the thing, these inventions, or now we can record that, and now how wonderful. Anyone in Egypt or wherever, and they can see us. No, yeah, it's wonderful. But if our whole life, daily life, is covered by all these influences and by all this rushing and only running behind to make some money and to survive in some way, or to want more and more, that's not good for our soul. We have to come to slow down.
Yes. We talk about that sometimes, right? The technology is great, it's wonderful, it's helping us in so many ways. And at the same time, it is moving people away from a soul because of the distraction of
We
mobile
should be
phones.
much more connected now. I mean, you can call your friend, your mother, or whomever in any moment. You can send a video message. You can talk. And in reality, we are much more separated. Because these messages, or especially the messages, they are kind of sterile thing. No, and not, you don't get the feeling of the other person. The person is not close to you. Often it can very easily create a complete misunderstanding.
Yes.
No, because this person does not take the word as you said it.
The
If
facial
you are
expression
sitting
is missing.
next,
the
all
tone
that
of
is
voice.
missing, no?
Yeah.
So if you have the person next to you, it's much easier to have a closer communication than with these things. It should be easier. I remember traveling, and then to send a quick message home, the only way was to send a telegram.
Yeah.
And the telegram still would take maybe 1 or 2 or 3 days until it... So normally you would send a postcard, and the postcard were 1 week or 2 or 3. So that was the contact you had. But when you were at home, then you had contact with these people. Now you don't have to be at home. Now you are traveling 1 year or 2 years, and then you are sitting there, people coming here to the hostel, sitting there the whole day in the garden with their cell phone. And I say, who are you talking with? And with my mother. And I said, what the fuck, can you please take a plane and sit with your mother? And not sit in my garden chatting with your mother. It's nice that you tell your mother, I'm fine, you should do that. But it's not a real contact. We lost that. We have not even any longer the patience to have a real contact with someone. Now
Yeah.
our beasts are coming.
At least one of them.
Beast
Hi.
number 1.
Hi. Hi, sweetie. Oh, yes. How was your walk? You're a little wet. You went to the river? Yeah? Hi. So we have real contact with our dogs, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have no cell phone, so we have to message real.
You don't have a cell phone. You're already a year old. Come on, come up here.
Okay, go on
Yeah,
reading.
come.
If there's still time.
A little bit.
Go on.
Here in the countryside, we boys often tried to prove to ourselves that we were already men. One of these occasions came when we decided to steal a chicken from the farm owner to later roast on a campfire.
Poor chicken.
We armed ourselves with a few sticks, sneaked into one of the chicken coops, and as quickly as we could, we ended the life of one of these poor animals. From there, we walked into an abandoned quarry. Here we set up a small teepee, which was part of my Indian equipment. A fire was built, water was boiled, and onions were peeled to stuff the chicken with. That's some real culinary something that's going on there, huh? I'm not sure if it was our poor cooking skills or the stomach cramps that slaughtering the chicken had given us, but the chicken tasted terrible. My good friend came up with an idea to prank me. After we finished cooking the chicken, the fire was still burning brightly. To heat water and roast the chicken, we had placed iron rods across the fire pit from stone to stone. Joseph called me by my name and asked me to hold out my hands to receive something. I turned around and did as he said. My friend stood there, thick leather gloves pulled over his hands, and placed the almost red-hot iron bars in my outstretched hands. You're laughing about it, but you're also sitting here.
I'm
your hands are
that.
fine.
I mean, I had no suspicion. I just said, yeah, here we are. And he put in one hand, it burned only a little bit, but in the other, it burned down to the bones. Like, the smell of burnt human being.
Maybe that was better than the chicken.
It was better than the chicken, but we didn't want to eat that. Oh wow, yeah, that was a little bit painful.
The hot metal burned several of my fingers to the bone on both hands. Maybe this was revenge for the pebble. However, I didn't faint. I screamed loudly, but not just from pain. The fire had broken out of the stone circle and was beginning to spread through the dry grass. Disaster after disaster.
I remember that, standing there and shouting as loud as I could, "Uncle Who!" And he came running up.
With a scream, louder than the scream of pain, I roared, "Uncle Who!" And Uncle Who came running up the mountain at breakneck speed. He sent us all home immediately. Hours later he came back, his hands and face black with soot, and told us that he had put out the fire. With my Indian shield, he had crawled under the flames and pushed the half-burned grass down to the ground so the fire couldn't spread further. We children assumed that Uncle Who had saved us from going to prison for arson. My wounds healed quickly, and no signs or scars remained. A year later, on the same day as the previous year, another fire broke out in the same quarry. This time, however, it was much larger, and large parts of a cherry tree plantation were burned. But we had nothing to do with it, and it was the fire department, not Uncle who put out the fire. He was brave, huh? He was brave.
Uncle
to take
Who?
Yeah.
He was brave. He had no doubt to do
What
what you have to do when you have to do it. He would do it. He would die under the flames. No way. He wanted to save us or save the environment or whatever. He was crawling under the flames and with his shield putting the fire out.
So
And to the day, the next year, we were looking out of the window. Wow, fire there. To the day, again a fire, and then that spread a lot, and then fire brigade came to put it out.
to do what you have to do when you have to do it. So Uncle Who had a lot of abundance, in one sense.
He was alive.
Alive, yeah.
That person was alive. That person was alive.
A new idea was to build ourselves a hut out of pine logs in the forest to use as our hunting lodge. In the basement of our house, we practiced shooting with a rifle. A carbine? It's like a carabiner
Carabiner.
in German. I don't know in English.
I don't know in English. Google says carbine, so it's carbine. Don't worry.
A lit candle was placed in front of a wall, and then we tried to shoot out the flame from the opposite side of the room. Is that a smart idea? But anyway. This made a hell of a noise and was only possible if no adult was present in the house. Uncle Who had sawed off the stock of the rifle to make it shorter so he could hide the carbine under his coat. The end of the stock could be reattached to the rifle with a screw for more convenient shooting. Uncle Who went hunting with this invention several times. However, I never saw him come home with any loot. So you're inside a room and you're shooting. Couldn't
In the cellar.
couldn't it
And that was
ricochet
maybe-
off the walls?
I mean, it was maybe 3 or 4 meters, and the candle was put against the wall in front of us, and then trying, just not touching the candle, just shoot out the, how you call it, where the fire comes out of the
German, it's
candle.
the Docht. It's the candle wick.
Just to, pew. I mean, we were
Boys.
strange. And that made a whole lot of noise in that room.
Is it like one of these that they use here in the village when they do the reenacting of the
No.
Cristianos y Moros festival?
I mean, it's more or less. My Manfred, my brother-in-law, he had one where you could put 10 bullets into it, and that works like a machine gun. You make tut, 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 tut. So it's like a machine gun, but you can shoot only once with
Okay.
a carabiner. Only that's it, and then you have to load it again and another bullet. Yeah, it's a real gun. Yes. I remember once we took these, only the bullets, without the gun, put them on a stone, and then smashed them, hit them with a hammer, so that would explode. And recently I thought about that. We are really lucky that no one died in that, because that could turn around in that moment, and we are standing around. We say, okay, it will go there. No,
Yeah.
but it could have turned and shoot
Hit
you in the
someone.
stomach. No,
Yeah.
it did not. Thanks God.
To build a cabin in the forest, we cut down not too old fir trees, sawed the trunks, and began to build the cabin. Any particular reason for not too old fir trees?
Yes. Imagine yourself cutting out a big old tree. No, they were like that.
It was not about the flexibility, it was about
No,
being
it
able
was
to
less
move it.
less work. No, tuk, 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 tuk,
Okay.
tuk, you could cut that easier.
It didn't take long before the forest ranger showed up at our house. Everyone who had been involved in building the hut was summoned to the forester's house. There was talk of youth welfare offices, reform schools, and similarly frightening things. But then there was another solution. If we children agreed, we could help the forester peel the same number of tree trunks that we had cut down and thereby repair the damage. And of course, we would have to abandon our plan to build a cabin in the forest. That's nice. That's a way to really
that
teach.
was a nice person how you teach.
Yeah.
And I remember that it was to peel them. It was like a blade,
Yeah.
and on both sides you had
A handle?
a handle, and to make like that. No,
Yeah.
you were sitting on that trunk, and then. And we enjoyed doing that. We
Yeah.
peeled a whole lot of trunks. That is the right way to teach.
Yes.
No, you say, well, okay, you did that, you are capable of that, so there's this solution, but we have another solution. You can help us, and then you see what it means to work in the forest, and then maybe you are later a little bit more respectful. No?
Yes. Yeah. That's beautiful. Yes, we agreed and spent several weeks peeling logs. From one day to the next, we became forest workers, had close contact with the boss, and were praised for our good work. We had suddenly managed to grow up a bit, and we liked that. It's a beautiful, colorful childhood, no? Lots of nature, adventures, experiences. I also enjoyed growing up at the edge of a village near the forest. We would go there very often, just play, imagination, no?
Magical, everything
Magical,
magical there.
Finding paw prints or hoof prints of animals, walking around, exploring. Shall we break here for today?
I think so.
Yes.
It's quite a time.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we say goodbye.
We say goodbye.
Doc is already sleeping. Doc said goodbye. Was looking when we were talking about the chicken. Where is the chicken?
Especially
Well,
because...
chicken, look how she looks now.
chicken? Tamanka, you like chicken? But we're missing one dog. She's...
One dog is standing in front of the door because she's so shy. She's not able. She does not even make a sound. She could stand there now and make meow, wow, wow, or whatever. No. She will wait. She's a princess until you go there and open the door for her. Then she will come
Yes.
in, not before. I open the door for her.
Okay, so
Well,
we will release
You can
Princess.
see the princess. Well, they saw her already.
Yes.
Because she was one day the skeleton Skeleton, you are here or not? No, Skeleton is
Ah.
not here. Maybe she did not return home.
I guess
What
she did not.
happens sometimes she goes on her own trip.
Vale. So
Okay, then.
you
that's
say
it.
goodbye. And you can put your
Goodbye.
hand in there and say, gee, bye bye. See you next
Okay,
time.
bye bye. See you next time. Thank you
Arrivederci.
very much.